We're having a problem doing what?
For what?
Religion for the.
Writing in your planner what the assignment is.
I think I had it written down, but this
Wait, no, for the
Oh, then you're having the 8th grade problem is that because they're writing it down because I'm making them write it down at the end of the day. But then the next step is what?
I'm doing it.
Check your planner when you're at home and actually doing the things that you wrote down. So if we can get maybe the first step and all three together with the 7th grade, then that'd be wonderful. So that's what's missing in religion for the 7th grade, okay? Now, from what I'm hearing here, we're gonna have, how many people don't have the review done today? So you're already setting yourself up for failure on the test on Thursday.
I have a question.
Raise your hand if you're not done with the review. 1, only 1. Everybody else is done? 2? Oh, wonderful. Before we do the review though, I want to go through that other handout that you can use on the test.
Oh, my house.
Because we didn't really have a chance to talk about the New Deal in depth. So I want to go through that, then I want to go through the review, then I want to review.
Okay.
That's the plan today. Here's some, the other thing that's late for many of you is your song.
Wait, so where would we find the Flipgrid?
The flip grid for religion is under 7th grade religion. The flip grid for the song is under social studies.
Okay.
Wait, so we have to make a flip grid of the song?
If you didn't turn in your song before, you have to make a flip grid of it. So the people that turned it in are Gianna, Greta, Clara, come up and get it, Emily, Ewan, Allison, Bella. See you grab it.
He called you.
You did?
Like, what are your names again?
Allison, Chase, Ryder,
Let's see, 15 out of 10.
Lucy, Grayson.
Now it's funny.
Wait,
What do you know? 15? I got 15.
what's the max points you have?
15.
Oh,
Unless you did it for a bonus.
35.
Now the people that are doing it on Flipgrid can't get it for a bonus now. The only way to get up, I won't take any points off if you sing it. Okay? Yeah, I suppose if you sang it just so amazingly on Flipgrid that I was just grooving to it, I might have to give you bonuses.
When was the religion Flipgrid assigned?
When was it assigned?
Yeah.
It was assigned last Tuesday, before I went on our field trip. What are we focusing on this month? Rights and responsibilities. What is this issue dealing with?
Responsibility.
Responsibilities, okay? Okay, so we're taking out this nice sheet. See mine, isn't it neat?
Where do I find that copy? I don't want that copy.
So if you have the sheet, you get to use it on the test, okay? Now, the New Deal became, all of these different agencies became known as alphabet agencies because they're known by the alphabetic letters. If you remember the alphabetic letters, you can usually tell what it was doing, usually, okay? And what we didn't go over is that basically his New Deal had to do with the 3 R's. What are the 3 R's?
Reform,
Relief
relief,
first, recovery,
And reform.
and then reform. Okay? Remember we said the Depression, the reason Hoover was criticized so much was because he thought relief should come from who?
Yourselves.
Yourselves or local agencies, not the federal government. He's saying the federal government's job isn't to provide individuals. Like he would have been appalled with the stimulus checks. That's, because he would have said that's not the federal government's job to do that. That's up to local governments to do. So this part here, okay, was to deal with bringing what? That people were beginning to lose.
Hope.
Hope. Okay? This is to bring what? So once they have hope, this is to get them back on their feet. And this is supposed to be what?
Prevent another depression.
This is supposed, reform just means to what? To change. Now, you can tell which of the agencies for sure are this. How can you tell? If we still have it today, what? It was meant to change, to reform. So if it's still around today, that means it was meant for reform. Okay, if it's bringing immediate help, then it's this one. Okay, if it's bringing longer term help, but it's not around today, then it's this one. Does that make sense? I'm getting the deer in the headlight look, or the glazed eyes sleeping in social studies class look, and religion class whenever we have morning class versus afternoon class. It's like you guys wake up in the afternoon.
Yeah.
No morning people here, just like, nobody? Nobody's a morning, who's a morning person?
I like
Just
the
one
morning.
person?
I like the morning.
Two, 3 people? So the first FDIC, what's that stand for?
The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Is it around today?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You can go to any bank and you'll see all across the bank, FDIC, FDIC, FDIC. What's it doing?
It's insuring the bank.
Insuring your money.
What's that mean, insuring my money?
You're keeping it safe. It's down and you get the money back.
If the bank closes down, they're gonna give me my money back, up to
10,000.
$100,000.
Oh. That's
So,
what we're doing.
Mr. Hale doesn't have to worry about losing any of his money in the bank. I will never have $100,000 in the bank, okay? Until I win the lottery, then maybe. Or Publishers Clearinghouse, $5,000 a week for the rest of my life.
Just split it into 10 different accounts.
That's right, that's what you have to do. So I'd have to open up a different account. So if I have 5 different accounts in the bank, I can insure my money up to what? $500,000.
And then you get extra money because you have to count.
So, it's in making sure, what's that restoring?
Trust.
It wouldn't have been like that guy in my hometown. That never what?
Trusted banks.
Never trusted banks anymore. He not only didn't trust banks, he didn't trust who?
Government.
He didn't trust the government to say what they're gonna do, okay? SEC, what's that? Okay, I'm gonna go through them quick then. Security Exchange Commission, what it did is regulated the stock market. It's still around today, so that's a 3.
Wait, what was the first one? Like,
First one was a 3, cause it's still around. The director was Walter Cummings, but I'm not so, it's not so important, you know all these directors. Okay? The National Industrial Recovery Act, National Industrial Recovery Act is the number 2. It was designed to join government and business and labor to keep people from going on strikes, basically to keep business going. So they came up with codes of fair competition, so businesses and labor would work together. Then you had the NRA, which is the National Recovery Administration. This was a famous one because you saw their symbol all over during the Depression is a blue eagle. So they had a blue eagle. It's a number 2 also. Has it in the name. So again, it helped labor, the National Recovery Administration. So it raised the minimum wage. The FERA stands for the Federal Emergency Relief Administration. What did it do? It designed to keep people from starving, so that's a number 1. This director you should know because he did a lot of the different agencies as one of, who was all of President Roosevelt's advisors, what they call him? One of the questions on the test, right?
brain trust?
The brain trust. So this guy that did a lot of these is Harry Hopkins. So Harry Hopkins was one of the leaders in the brain trust. And he also led that. He led the FERA, he led the CWA, okay? So the Federal Emergency Relief is, again, get money right away so people wouldn't starve. CWA is the Civil Works Administration. That paid money to be right on a federal payroll. Created a lot of temporary jobs for unemployed. The PWA was like a pump primer. You know what a pump primer is? Was that one of the questions on the review? I might be giving questions on the answers on the review too as we go through this. Who knows what a pump primer is? How many mow your lawn? You guys probably have the big fancy new lawnmowers. Nobody here mows your lawn? Okay, you got an old lawnmower or a new one?
Like one big ones? No,
What's an old lawnmower is you need a pump primer. If you don't have an old lawnmower, if you have a new lawnmower, you probably don't have a pump primer. That means to start your mower, before you can start it, you have to pump this little plastic rubber thing.
Oh, no.
Because what does that do? No, on the old ones you do it before you start, okay? You do it because it's shooting gasoline where?
Unless it fires.
It's shooting gasoline
sit down.
into your carburetor. If you want it fires, it'll start.
When you sit down, I'll do your-
Now what's that got to do with the New Deal legislation? Well, that's the idea, is if I spend a little money, what'll happen? The economy will start and then it'll keep going then. So that's what the Public Works Administration was supposed to do. Let's spend a little money, like schools and dams and different projects, and then it'll act as to make the economy just start rolling. The CCC, which was probably one of the most popular of all the New Deal legislation. It's a 2, probably a 1 or a 2. What did it do? It employed people 17 to 25, gave them a job. To conserve things like they built parks, they built dams, they helped fight forest fires. If you go to Nebraska, there's a lake that was created by the CCC. Minnesota, you think, oh, big deal, we got like over 10,000 of them. Well, in Nebraska, we might have 10, and one of them was actually man-made, okay? FCA is the Farm Credit Administration, and again, they gave loans to save farms. The AAA was the Agricultural Adjustment Act. Again, that paid farmers to do what?
Plant.
Plant less.
To not plant.
Yeah.
Why would they pay farmers not to plant?
So they don't, have an overproduction of stuff.
And what will happen?
They won't get as much money because there'll be more stuff.
What will happen to the price of their crops?
It'll go down. Wait, or it'll go up.
The price will go up. They're trying to drive the price of their crops higher.
Oh, well, I meant.
By producing less, the price will what? To go up. Because you're creating what? You're creating demand because you have less supply.
Yeah.
Now, how come there was more than one AAA? They had a first AAA, then they had a second AAA. One, the Supreme Court said the government didn't have the power to do that. Roosevelt kind of got upset with the Supreme Court, so he tried to do what? Another question you're going to see on the test.
What did you say?
In fact, today, the current administration is thinking about doing this also. It's called court hacking. Who's the court? Supreme Court, how many are there?
5. Wait, no, not 5.
There are 9.
Yeah.
Now, Roosevelt's plan, because the 9 justices, most of them were what kind of justices? You have 2 kinds of justices. You have conservative justices, and you have what?
Non-conservative.
You have liberal. Remember our political line that we did? Conservatives, what do they think about change? They don't like change, they want it to happen slow. Liberals, and they want government to be what? Little. Okay, liberals want change, and they want it to happen fast, and they want government to be what?
Large.
Big, okay? The Supreme Court under Roosevelt was very conservative. He's very what? Liberal. Obviously, he's very liberal. Look at all these agencies he's trying to create. What's that gonna do to government? It's gonna make it bigger, okay? So the Supreme Court kept declaring a lot of his things he was trying to get passed, they were saying they go against the Constitution. So he said, well, let's do this. For every justice that's over 70 years old, let's appoint a new one. Until they get up to 15. So then if he did that, he's gonna appoint what kind of justices?
Liberal.
Liberal justices. So then they would start backing him. Okay, this is currently being discussed today. Because right now our court is what? There are 5 conservatives and 4 liberals on our court. So he's saying, well, President Biden is saying, well, let's appoint some new justices added onto this, so that it could change the. Now, under Roosevelt, he got severely criticized for trying to do this. So he lost the battle but won the war. Why did he win the war? Because the decisions after he tried to do that kind of went in his favor. But that's why there's more than one AAA thing, and there's other things that were passed. The HOLC was the Homeowners Loan Corporation that gave low-interest loans for people to refinance their homes. The FHA is the Federal Housing Administration. That enabled families, again, to build new homes or to remodel their homes. Some of your parents probably have a mortgage, they might have an FHA mortgage, so it's still around today. It helps you build a new home or remodel your home if you take a loan out on it. The Tennessee Valley Authority is a TVA. It's still around today. It provided flood control, electricity, and conservation in the poor Tennessee Valley. You know, who do you pay your electric bills around here? Anybody know?
No.
I think it's Dakota Electric. A lot of you. Dakota Electric. When I was in Nebraska, if you're down in Tennessee, you probably pay your bills to the TVA. Social Security Act, this is the only one that doesn't have any letters to it. Is it still around today? Yeah, you're gonna find out when you get your first paycheck. Because the government's taking money out of every paycheck and they're putting it into this account. So that when you retire, they're gonna what? They're gonna pay you back, supposedly from this account. What's the big fear now, though? The big fear is when you guys get to be retirement age, what? There won't be any money in the account. Because people are living what? People are living longer, and people are taking more out of the account. So there's big controversy over Social Security, and some people say we should be able to just put our money in whatever account we want, and not have the government be doing it for us. So that's, again, who would be saying that? We should be able to put our money wherever we want, not the government telling us. Any conservatives would be saying that. Okay? The Works Progress Administration, another one by Harry Hopkins. They built playgrounds and schools and hospitals and bridges and airports, provided jobs to artists and actors.
Work progress.
Works Progress. Works Progress. And then the REA is the Rural Electrification Administration, which again provided electricity to rural areas. Before REA, 10% of rural areas had electricity. After REA, 90%. When I lived in Hay Springs, Nebraska, I paid my electric bill to the REA. What's that tell you? What number is it? Well, you erase the numbers. That means it's a 3 if it's still around today, right?
Yeah.
And the NYA is the National Youth Administration, which was a part of the WPA, which was to help high school and college kids get jobs. Okay, so the people that didn't have the worksheet, you guys can go out and work on it, and then the rest of us will grade ours. Review sheet. Have you lost yours? Go make have you written any answers on it yet? Go make a copy for you. Take your stuff out. You went up here anywhere? We didn't get all these taken off on our last Friday because I wasn't here, huh? Okay, you ready? Number 1, October 1929. Number 2, Herbert Hoover. could individualism mean?
You can handle it yourself.
Okay, that it's up to local or private things to handle it, not the federal government. Okay, number 4. It says describe, so that means you need to tell why.
Oh.
If you didn't, it's a point off, so number 4 is actually worth 6 points. If you didn't describe them, you take 1 off for each one. So if you just listed overproduction, unequal distribution of wealth, agricultural problems, credit buying, poor banking, and the stock market crashing, and the domino effect, that's what -3. Otherwise, you need to describe all those. Does that sound like a good essay? What caused the depression?
Yeah, I guess so.
Describe in detail? Could be, could be, yes. Number 5 is Hoovervilles. Number 6 is the bonus army. Number 7 is a subsidy. We'll have that be a bonus. Although I think I did go over it when we talked about the popular.
Gianna, what was 6 again?
Yep.
It was,
Number 8 is Eleanor Roosevelt. Number 9 is the Dust Bowl. Number 10 is the Brain Trust. Number 11 are fireside chats. Number 12 is bank holiday. Number 13 is the gold standard. Number 14 is a conservative. Number 15 is a liberal. Number 16 is the Tennessee Valley Authority. Number 17 is the Agricultural Adjustment Act. Number 18 is the Farm Credit Administration. Number 19 is the Civilian Conservation Corps. Number 20 is the Rural Electrification Administration. Number 21, am I going too fast?
Yes.
Then how come somebody didn't say, Mr. Hill, you're going too fast? Did it too much? So where you at? Where do you need help? Where do you need me to slow
14,
down?
17, and 18.
14 is a conservative. 15 is a liberal. Anybody need 16?
Yeah, what was it,
Tennessee Valley Authority. Anybody need 17? Agricultural Adjustment Act. 18 is the Farm Credit Association or Administration. 19 is the Civilian Conservation Corps. Louis?
I said Works Progress Administration for 19, is that okay?
No. 20 is the Rural Electrification Administration. 21 is the Works Progress Administration. 22 is Social Security. 23 is the Securities Exchange Commission.
Wait, what was 23?
Securities and Exchange Commission. 24 is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Wait, what? Oh. You had 24.
What?
You had 24?
Yeah. Did you get a wrong one?
Well, I wasn't here Friday, so I printed it out for Google Classroom. So I must not have printed the last question.
I think maybe I posted the wrong one on there, so I won't count it against you. 25 is the Homeowners Loan Corporation. You should know those answers.
Okay.
26 is relief recovery and reform. Okay, on the crossword, we'll do Joey.
For number 25, I put Federal Housing Administration. Is that wrong?
I'll accept that one. steps right there, Alan. Outside the door. Okay, so we're gonna work from the top down, going on the, all the ones across. Again, this is a crossword, that means what? Spell it right. Justice, Justice. Investor, Investor. New Deal, Newdeal. Holding Company, Holding Company. Dust, Dust. Depression, Depression. Margin, Margin. Martial law, Martial Law. Lewis.
No. What was the last
Bust. Oh, I forgot that one, huh? I said dust, didn't I? Bust. Bust. Left to right now on the ones down. Communism, Communism. Profit. Installement. FDR. BOOM. FASCISM. RECESSION.
Can you just say the words instead of spelling them out?
Yeah, I'm lost.
Which one you lost on?
What was, 13? I really wanna get 7.
13 is profit. And what number?
7.
7 is fascism.
What was 2 and 9?
2 is speculation. 9 is installment.
What was 17?
17 is martial law. Lewis.
15?
15. Margin. Lying on margin. Other questions? What we didn't have time to do is go through what the Depression did to the US and who criticized it and who liked it. And a lot of people ask me, do you have any more notes? So here's what I did. I haven't posted them yet. I'm gonna scan all my notes. That I will post. And what you should especially look at, cause we're about out, how much time we got? 10 minutes, yeah? I wanna go through the two sides of the New Deal. What were the good things about the New Deal? What were the bad things? And again, depending on your view of the New Deal, how did the New Deal affect the US? So we have some obvious things we can say how it affected the US. But again, part of it has to do whether you believe government should be what? So which party is this usually? Which party is this? Democrat, okay. And this party is what? Here's what we're gonna do. Since there were a lot of questions on the crossword that really didn't have necessarily part of the chapter, here's what I'm gonna do for that. I'm not gonna count it. If you got every,
What?
if you got every single one of them right, I'm gonna give you 5 bonus points.
Whoa, one
Yeah.
wrong.
Wait, you're not counting the
I got
back?
all of them right.
What?
What if you got one wrong?
Yeah, what if you got one wrong?
I'll give you 3.
Yay.
Okay. So, let me count.
Do you need it? No, not now.
So that means there's only 26 points. Greta,
So for number one for the review, photography, you put Black Tuesday.
yes.
Wait, you said there's only 26, not including the bonus points, but number 4 is worth 6 points.
That's right. So let's call it, your name's not on, I'll take off a point, we'll call it 30.
30 points? Okay.
So how much is it worth with the bonus?
30. Oh, with the bonus, probably that's 31.
So if you got all the
Oh,
bonus, it'd be
with the
35.
bonus.
Okay.
With the bonus, if you didn't get any wrong, you'd be 30.
So you don't count any wrong from the crossword.
Oh, okay.
If you got them all right, you get a +5. If you got 4 right, you get a +3. I mean, if you only missed 1, you get a +3. If you only missed 2, I'll give you a plus. Make sense? Ryder.
I got one, wait, so I got 25 and then I got the bonus points, right? All of them, so I got 34 out of 35.
There's only 30.
Well, I got the bonus points, right? So I got
So-
one wrong.
So you got a 34.
Yeah.
Bella.
I'm not done.
Avery. Ben. Allison.
I'm not done counting. Oh, wait.
Lucy. Lucy's not here. Grayson.
Hold on.
Gianna.
I got, everything right, but like 2, so is that 30?
One.
Oh.
You missed 2 on the crossword?
I didn't miss any on the crossword.
Okay.
But I
Oh, you missed 2 other ones.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 28 plus 5 is 33.
Okay.
Mikey.
33.
Joey.
33.
Clara.
Out of 35.
Maddie.
27. Not 28, 28.
Ewan. Not done. Emily. 23. Greta.
Well, I got 3 wrong on the review, but then I got 1 wrong on the crossword.
So you get a 30. Lewis.
25 out of 30. I didn't get.
Allison, you got yours figured now?
Yeah, 33 out of 35.
Bella.
28.
Grayson.
I got 7 off, and then I got 3 bonus points.
Okay, does anybody have a question on the review? So on that other sheet, here's what I'm doing for this test, okay? Anything you wanna put on that other sheet. So that could be a whole note sheet,
Okay.
but it has to be on that sheet. Can't be on a separate note sheet. Everybody understand that? Questions about that? That make sense, Chase, at home? So, the New Deal handout that we just went over at the start, you can write anything you want on that for this test.
That's gonna be difficult.
Well, in that case, can we do backside and front?
Anything on that sheet.
You can put like everything.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, wait.
Just write small and like write everywhere.
I can write small.
Oh,
I almost did a whole thing. I got a note card.
But if you're just doing that, then you're what?
Not studying anything.
If you're gonna depend on that, usually what ends up happening.
Don't you do good on the test?
And a retest, you're not gonna be able to do that.
Oh, dang.
So if you have to retest on this next test, you're gonna take it without anything.
Okay.
That means what?
Got it.
Do your homework before. So right now, you're writing in your planner, right? What?
Study for test.
Okay, fresh and new deal test. Put it in today's homework for social studies, put it in tomorrow's homework for social studies. So then on Thursday, you're ready for it. Okay? I wanna quickly, before we just do a rapid fire time here, I wanna go over the effects of the New Deal, okay? That means what did the New Deal cause? Okay? 1, expansion of government. What's that mean?
Government, you're bigger.
How do you tell the government grows? Is by looking at the GNP. You know what the GNP is? Anybody know what that stands for, GNP? Sometimes it's called the GDP, it's called gross domestic product, or the gross national product. Gross national product means all the money that US businesses make. That means even the businesses that are in other countries. Gross domestic product means all the money that businesses make where? That are in our country, okay? So, in 1929, 3% of the GNP came from the government, okay? In 1929. I only have 1980 marked, because that's where my notes go back to, 1980. In 1980, over 20% of the government. I'll give bonus points who can find out how much of the government is financing the GNP now. You know it's gonna be what? Less or more than 20%?
More.
A lot more than 20%. So anybody finds that and shows me evidence of it, 5 bonus points.
What were the initials for the thing you have to find?
Okay, either GNP or GDP.
Thank you.
This stands for gross national product. That means how much money our country earns overall. Usually they break it down per capita, like per 1,000 people. If they don't, then it's gonna be in the billions of dollars, okay? Second effect of course, is Social Security. Which is another way of saying old security is supposed to be like old age insurance. That when I get old, I'll retire and what? I can retire, I don't have to work anymore because I'm gonna get a check from the government. The problem is, these checks today are what? They're really not enough for a person to live on. That's why Mr. Hale will probably be teaching here until he's 80. Because I won't be able to live off of Social Security. Most companies have these big retirement things, you put money away all the time. The key to that is you gotta have money to put away. So unless I win the lottery, I'm probably gonna be around for a long time. Number 3, what's another effect of the New Deal? Wages and working conditions, what happened? They want what?
For
So labor during the New Deal had its greatest thing. So the highest wages, all because of the New Deal. Who does this hurt? The groups it hurts are people that aren't union people, like farmers and non-union people. You guys know what a union job is?
It involves the government.
Okay, union means your occupation, people work together and form and join this union, and their whole goal is to get better conditions and better wages. So if I was teaching in the public school, you're required to join the teachers union. And then they work to get teachers what?
Fair wages.
Better wages and better working conditions, okay? In the Catholic school, we don't have a union. They say, this is what we can give you, and you say, okay. Or, there's the highway. Number 4. Conservation. What's that mean? Preserving the environment, okay? The work of the CCC and the TVA are showing that, okay? 5 is financial and banking reforms. What are the 2 major ones for that? That's why I can go to the bank and not be afraid to put all my mega bucks in there.
FDIC.
FDIC, okay. And so if I wanna play the stock market, you won't lose everything again because they're controlling it. What's that called? Who controls the stock market?
Oh. Securities and Exchange Commission.
So, the biggest legacy, so this is the legacy it brought hope. Now, these are mostly the positives, except for this one, depending on your view of government. What's the negative side of the New Deal? What happens when government gets big? What tends to happen? You have corruption and wasted spending. You guys didn't have to do this in 6th grade, did you, for the poverty project? Did you have to fill out so you didn't do that like the other 6th graders did. So if I'm trying to apply for benefits, you have to go through all of this paperwork to get benefits from the government. Triplicate, and there's 4 or 5 different agencies that are doing the same job, okay? So that's the problem with when you have big government, okay? The other, again, has to do with, a lot of people said that the New Deal was this, socialism, which means that goes against what? Our economy is supposed to be what? Free enterprise. It goes against that. And the last thing about the New Deal, the biggest thing, and we're even getting bigger now, is this. The national debt. We had no national debt. Okay? The New Deal starts. So our first national debt, $16 billion in 1930. What's our national debt now? It's in the trillions of dollars. And remember when I put up how much I owed for my house and what you end up paying for it? That's what we're paying these loans off for the government's doing, okay? Okay, ready? World Wide Quicksand, let's see some questions here. What year did the depression begin?
October 19, 1929.
You gotta raise your hand and get called on. Allison,
October 19th.
what's having the same amount of money as gold?
Gold standard.
Yes, what are the places that criticized, they were the shanty towns on the sides of, what's, Roosevelt's 3,
Reform, recover, and
what's the order?
relief, recover, reform.
Yes. What's the judge called? What? Justice, yes. So, we didn't get a chance to make a review, but that's why you get to take all those notes that you want. Do you want to come in before school or after school? I'll do extra review with you. The people that did not do this review, you're gonna bomb if you don't do it and get some help. I told people you weren't in here really, and tell Lucy and who else is not here. Andrew, so you're taking tests. Who else? Who else you missed? Christian? That they can fill out those sheets. You can't copy somebody else's sheet though. I don't see any mimeograph copies. We can copy off somebody has. Okay? And check the link work.
Bye, mister. Y'all have a great day.
You do. What were the bonus points? I said if you got your whole crossword done without a mistake, you got 5 bonus. That means you should have got 3 bonus. Did you add that? Did you tell me that?